Alrighty.
We cannot start with that.
Of course we can.
Ugh.
I am Tyler Lewis, and this is...
Your boy, Alex Ernst.
Oh, I hate that you said your boy.
You slurped into the mic to start this.
Still better than your boy.
No, it's not. Anyway, what's up, everyone?
Welcome to Dormality.
Welcome to Dormality, the podcast.
What episode are we on now?
Oh, I don't know. 3?
Season 2.
Season 2, episode 3, probably.
3, yeah.
All right. You want to tell them the plan?
Yeah. So we've got 3 things planned.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about Shang-Chi because we went to go see it, and spoiler alert, we loved it. So we're going to get into why.
Yeah.
I keep looking over here because that's where I'm at, but the camera's over there.
Do you want me to move it over here? I will move it over here to make you feel better.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, I
Look
can
at that.
see everything.
It's us.
All right, anyway.
So,
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
And then we're going to talk about music.
Uh-huh.
Possible albums that are coming out next year.
Yep.
Because it's a loaded year. Coming out of the pandemic, everyone's releasing music.
Mm-hmm. Followed
Followed by movies that are coming out next year. And that's probably going to be a very long talk. We're probably going to finish the podcast with that.
Yeah.
In fact, if we don't finish the podcast with that, it's going to be a surprise to us. Because we have nothing else in our back pocket. So yeah, let's start with Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Let's see. Give it out of 13 bananas, how many would you give it?
11 and a half.
It's a lot of bananas.
It's quite a lot of bananas. You gotta stop. You can't keep doing that.
I love
And just like that, 5 listeners have clicked off because they're like, no, I'm not dealing with this.
We only have 6.
Yeah, yeah, we have 1 listener right now. Howdy, 1 listener.
Hello, Kyle.
I'm a big fan. Oh, that's only funny to us and us alone. But
Kyle might laugh.
he might laugh. So, do you want to just actually go out of 10, or are we doing but 13 bananas?
I like 13 bananas.
All right. Yeah, 11 and a half out of bananas out of 13. How many bananas would you give it?
I'd give it 11.
Okay.
Solid 11.
Half a banana.
I do not think it's the best that the MCU has given us. However, it was refreshing because, you know, I can't remember the last time we had a truly, like, solo movie. Because, you know, like, even the last few solo movies, like, you know, Thor Ragnarok, that's the Hulk and Thor. Mm-hmm. And then you've got, you know, the Guardians as a team. And then, you know, of course, the last 2 Avengers movies. And even Spider-Man had, like, a home... I mean, I guess Far From Home was a solo. No. Because it had Samuel Jackson and Nick Fury.
Yeah, but he wasn't in for that much.
He wasn't in for that much, and that's a good one. I like that one. So, but I don't know. But this kind of felt original, right?
Yeah.
Because it didn't really have much to do with the snap and all that. And they talked about it.
Yeah, what I'll say, I think this movie had a lot riding on it. Like, I view this as the beginning of Chapter 4 of the MCU. I think...
It's not, though.
Yeah, I know it isn't, by all technicality, but I mean...
Disney Plus shows are.
Yeah, okay, movie-wise. Because here's the thing.
Spider-Man?
Far From Home is kind of the epilogue of Endgame.
True. Yeah.
Black Widow is majority set in the past.
Yeah.
And now I think Shang-Chi was our first movie fully in the future. And I think it had a lot riding on it as where does the MCU go from here?
Yeah, I agree. And I think it did very well. Both like in the movie itself, as well as if you look at money-wise. Like they were riding on this movie because keep in mind what they did with the last like 7 Disney movies. They released them all on Disney Plus with a $30 fee, and then they did in theaters as well. In fact, that's why Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney.
Uh-huh.
But like, they didn't do that with this movie. They had faith to put it right in theaters. You know, the pandemic is still technically going on, but it's, you know, we're at the point now where people are getting vaccinated or they're not getting vaccinated. We're not going to get into that.
It's winding down.
It's winding down. People are going back to theaters, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And, by all means, it made a lot of money. Like, it made enough money to where Disney has now, you know, like, they started doing things like Sony saw how successful it was, and they had delayed Venom, the new Venom movie, and they moved it back. So now it's back. It's coming out October 1st. You know, they de-delayed some movies, which is pretty cool. Which means that it had faith in that, you know, theaters are back. Yeah. Which is pretty cool. But the movie itself, obviously it does fall with some of the same pitfalls that all the Marvel movies do. It did feel rushed at parts. But, you know, it's an origin story. Marvel is a lot better at sequels.
Yeah.
because they've already built their characters, and that's why the Spider-Man movies have done so good, the new ones, because they forego the whole Uncle Ben thing because
Everyone knows.
everyone knows about it.
And what I'll say, you get a little bit of that sequel energy from the new Spider-Man movies, because even though it is original to the Marvel's MCU, you still have Andrew Garfield, you still have...
We'll get into more of that later, because that comes up in our last discussion.
Oh, it's going to bug me. What's his name?
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. I didn't know if it was... Remember if it was Tony or Toby.
Freaking Maguire.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Okay, shut it.
Spider-Man.
I really like this movie. Here's the thing.
It was very enjoyable.
I am a sucker for the more boots on the ground things. I adore Winter Soldier. It's in my top 3. I really enjoyed Black Widow. I know a lot of people were not huge on Black Widow.
I love Black Widow. I thought it was great.
I thought it was really good. I don't think it's...
I feel like people didn't... A lot of people don't like Black Widow as a character. And so they didn't... And, after the last 2, they wanted something grandiose. And, that's not what Black Widow was going to be, ever going to be. Grandiose, yeah, in the ending, where they're, flying through the sky. But, it was supposed to be, a spy movie on the ground in Russia and things like that. And, that's what it was. And that's what they gave us. And that's what I loved. But Shang-Chi, the action was phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, choreography-wise, the fight scenes were amazing.
Well, do you know why that is, right? Do you know who Shang-Chi is based off of?
Bruce Lee. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I tell you about
You've
the thing?
Told me, probably.
So in early 2000s, late 90s, around before Brandon Lee, who is Bruce Lee's son, died tragically on the set of The Crow, he was pegged to be the star of this new Shang-Chi TV show. Or movie. It was either going to be a TV show or a movie. They had the details are sketchy because it didn't really even reach past the pre-production phase. But Brandon Lee was going to play it, and that's his son, so he was going to be Bruce. He was going to basically inherit the role that it was made after his father. But then that never materialized because of his passing, and then they never found a replacement. A bunch of other things have happened, and then the reception to Iron Man 3. Which mentions the 10 rings, and tries to make him off as an Afghani terrorist group, which then turns out to be fake. And people were negative about that, but then they also liked the idea of having the 10 rings in the MCU. So then they, Marvel retconned it by releasing All Hail the King, which I'd seen before, but you and me watched it before we went to go see the movie. It's on Disney Plus now. The short film they made, which sees them take Trevor. I also love that they paid off Trevor in the movie. I realized that we also didn't say that this is not a spoiler-free review beforehand.
I'll crop it in.
We'll crop it in. It'll be cropped in. Anyway, they pay off Trevor so much. He's hilarious in this movie. I think he was in the last one, but also they give him kind of a purpose. Because at the end of the movie, doesn't he take care of that little animal?
Yeah.
He's living and he's fine. Even though what he did impersonating a terrorist is a terrible thing to do. It was pretty cool. Comedy though on the movie, I think overall was pretty good.
I thought it was really funny. I mean,
it's pretty funny.
Marvel's been doing really well with throwing comedy into these movies. I mean, I think it strikes a good balance of knowing who the character is and how funny the movie should be. I loved it.
I will say, however, and I love Awkwafina. However, a lot of her lines in the movie seemed forced. Because she was definitely there to be the comedic relief, right? Her only purpose in the movie is to shoot the arrow into the dragon at the end of the movie. And I give it to her, that's a big part of the movie. However, it does seem like they try to shoehorn her in scenes that she doesn't need to be
I will say, that character development seemed a little rushed.
That's where I was talking about. That's why I didn't give it the 11.5 bananas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so from my story, I had just got off work and we went to go see it the night after it opens. Because when they say that movies release on a Friday, they actually release at 6 p.m. the Thursday before.
Yeah.
Which is dumb, because it used to be midnight. Movies used to release at midnight on the day, and you would go. I've been to midnight releases before. Forget one of the Harry Potter movies. But anyway, that's not the point. Now they release at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's, it's still fun to see the premiere.
But it's
not the same as
it's
the
not the
midnight
same.
premiere. So me and him went Friday, which would have been the actual premiere date. We didn't go at midnight, but we went at like 9:30ish.
And it was a solid 2-hour movie, so we were out probably like 11.
We were out late. It was 2 hours, 2 hours and 10 minutes ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we move into the next topic, we do have to talk about the end credit scenes.
Right.
There's 2 of them.
End credit scenes. There are 2.
Let's start with the less important one first, which is the early Marvel movies. Phase 2, maybe not early one, but Phase 2 used to do this all the time. They would do 2. They would do one that was like a bigger arc, and they would do one that's just the sequel.
Yeah.
So the one that's less important is that the 10 rings will return, and it looks like Shang-Chi's sister is now in charge of the 10 rings.
Yeah.
Which makes sense coming off her arc in the movie.
If I'm gonna guess, we're gonna get that late Phase 5, early Phase 6. I don't think we're gonna see that anytime soon. But I'm pretty sure the movie's done well enough that it's gonna be pushed to be within the next triplet phases.
Yeah, probably. And then the bigger one. The one that ties into probably what's going to end up being the... I'm still calling it... I think it's going to be the New Avengers. I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be called the New Avengers. And they're going to have all the younger ones. Mm-hmm. Like, Shang-Chi's going to be in it. And then, of course, like, the new Hawkeye person that they're training in the new Hawkeye show. And all those other people are going to be in it. But hasn't been announced yet. That's our... I don't know if you could hear that in the mic. Probably not.
Sports.
They're
watching football out there.
Our roommates are watching football out in the section. Where was I? Yeah.
I will say, hearing people outside really fits into the whole Dormality theme.
It does. I don't know if they could, though, because...
It adds character.
It does.
But yes, it fitting into the MCU with the new Avengers.
Yeah, so I think it's going to fit into the MCU. What happens is you find out that they're in a room, which I think you're supposed to believe is the Sanctum place in Doctor Strange. Mm-hmm. Even though Doctor Strange is nowhere to be found, which might tie into the two movies that come out next year. But Wong is there, and he's explaining to Shang-Chi that the rings have this like power to them, and they're sending a signal to somebody. Theories here. A bunch of big bad people. We'll find out later. But then they pan over, and Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, and Bruce Banner. Not as Professor Hulk. But like just Bruce Banner.
Which is
interesting
something.
Because that's the last time we saw Bruce Banner was in Infinity War. Mm-hmm. When they're arguing, and there's a deleted scene of them arguing and deciding to be together. A lot of people, which I don't understand, a lot of people were pissed off that like Professor Hulk was a thing. They didn't like Professor Hulk because I feel like it rushed the story, which I don't, because it had been 5 years in between. You're supposed to grow in that amount of time. Anyway, that whole movie was just Professor Hulk. So we're, depending on when this movie takes place, and when the She-Hulk series comes out, which I think is next year, because Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner is supposed to be in that. So I wonder if we're going to see him become Bruce Banner again in that thing. Because in the comics, that She-Hulk becomes She-Hulk because, he, to save her life, he gives him some of her blood, or he gives her some of his blood, and it takes the Hulk gene out of him and gives it to her. So I'm wondering if he's not the Hulk anymore at all.
Yeah. Which
would be interesting. However, his arm is still bandaged, which I imagine is probably from the snap that he did at the end of Endgame.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think it's interesting. I wonder where Shang-Chi and Doctor Strange are going to have their big interaction, because we see them enter the Sanctum at the end of the movie, and that could be just to look at the rings and go.
Yeah.
Or there could be something bigger there. I don't think that'll play off in Far From Home, even though that is very involved.
Far From Home already came out.
Well, No Way Home. Yeah, I meant No Way Home. No Way Home. I don't think it'll be involved there, but I'm curious to see if they'll have them interact in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, me too.
Which would be very cool. See, lifts up my Mysterio bobblehead right into the camera.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. He's got like, this is from Far From Home.
I have a lot.
That's the Far From Home suit. It's
It
black.
is a Far From Home suit, and I have the Miles Morales.
Yeah, that's from the video game though.
That's from the video game, but they're seeing it anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it was really good. Combined score 11.25 bananas out of 13.
Which is a good amount of bananas.
It's a lot of bananas.
It is a lot of bananas.
Monkeys would go nuts for those bananas.
Really?
Yeah.
You missed the chance to say they'd go bananas for their bananas?
Mm-mm.
You missed that?
I didn't.
You're going to miss that easy of a joke?
Intentionally.
All right, we're moving on from that.
I don't want to.
So, our next topic is going to be movies coming out this year.
Nope. Albums.
Albums. You know what?
Albums and music.
You know what?
We want to give them a break. We just talked for like 10, 15... How much time did we talk on that?
Only like 15 minutes.
Never mind. I tried to like scroll down to see, but I'm not the tech guy.
Yeah.
We talked a decent amount of time on that movie, so I want to give them a break. Let's talk about music, and then we'll come back to movies at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to start, or do you want me to?
You start with yours. I need to do a little bit of research before I say something stupid.
Unfortunately, I don't have any concrete album dates or like release periods, or most of these albums aren't even confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a list of like rumors. The big one is Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Mm-hmm.
And Cole's not here to talk about it.
Oh, he kicks in our door. I can't say that. That's poorly aged.
Poorly aged. We're not going to talk about what happened. But anyway, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Their like longtime guitarist John Frusciante, who was gone, is back. And he's been talking about like how awesome working with them again is. And I believe this will be their first full album since Dark Necessities, which was a really dark and good album. And they always bring really good like funk rock music together. They're a really awesome band.
They don't really have a bad album, do they? Like, I haven't heard of any that's like super bad.
No, they've got some that are worse than others.
Yeah.
Then the next couple are based on tours.
Mm-hmm.
So one big one that I'm hoping is a true rumor, although there's no validation or no like even credit from the bands or anything about this. It's just like heard it through the grapevine kind of thing. So as you know, My Chemical Romance is on tour, or they announced their reunion tour, and then COVID rescheduled it. So it's actually going to happen next year. And from what I've heard, they're really enjoying playing together. It's been a very political time. And what kind of music does My Chemical Romance excel at making?
That would be awesome.
Political
Holy
music.
crap.
Therefore, I'm hoping for a new My Chemical Romance album, if not in 2022, then in 2023. And another tour, also having to do with them doing a reunion tour and politics. Rage Against the Machine is on tour.
For real?
They announced the reunion tour and then got canceled, and now it's next year. It's in March. And like Prophets of Rage have been playing together, which is like members of Rage Against the Machine, but it doesn't have their main guy. He's back for this tour, so it's actually Rage Against the Machine. And Rage Against the Machine is very political. So I'm really hoping that they like look at what's going on in the world and they push out like a hard rock album on it. Some other ones that I kind of heard of or looked at, hit or miss with me would be Blink-182. I haven't really enjoyed a Blink-182 album since like some of their older stuff. In fact, my dad hates Blink-182, which is funny. I enjoy some of their stuff. They're supposed to possibly have a 9th album come out next year, which is interesting because their lead singer Mark Hoppus just announced that he has like stage 3 like cancer, which is interesting. Not good. So pray for that.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot too. There was a lot like that I was thinking about. People who were gonna drop albums that came out already. Like they were teasing. Modest Mouse was teasing an album forever, and then they just like surprise dropped it in the summer. Same thing with Manchester Orchestra. Weezer, which is insane.
Weezer, yeah.
So like I'm not like a crazy Weezer fan. I love everything Weezer produced before the new millennium. Everything. I love Make Believe. I love Pinkerton, Green Album, Blue Album, all of it. Awesome. In fact, I have most of those on vinyl. And even into the new millennium, I did like the Red Album and certain songs. And ever since, I've just been... Every album has had like one or two songs that I've enjoyed. Except for in 2016, they released the White Album. That album is flawless from beginning to end. But then ever since then, and before that, it was just like one or two songs. This year, they released two albums. They released Van Weezer, which was like an experiment where they were trying to be like hard rock. More like 80s glam rock is what it sounded like.
That reminded me, once we're done talking about Weezer, I have a question.
And then OK Human, which was like kind of similar to like the Blue Album sort of Weezer. Mm-hmm. And there were a couple songs on that. That has the song they teamed with AJR to make all my favorite songs. Which is, I like that one. That's on OK Human. Anyway, they did two albums last year, which some people may think was a lot. If you think that's a lot, buckle up. They're releasing 4 albums next year.
4
one for
freaking
every
albums,
season.
Which is kind of hype.
Which is crazy. And because, we have a podcast where we talk about music and movies, we're going to listen to all 4 of them, so we'll let you know.
To the Weezer quadrilogy of... That's not the word. Oh, my mogus.
Oh, that would be a fun...
I dropped my amogus.
It would be very fun to have a podcast where we listen to all the Weezer albums and talk about them.
Okay, hold on. Can I go on a tangent real quick?
Yeah, a tangent.
A tangent. Like, every preacher I've heard for the past week has said the phrase Among Us in their sermon.
That's hilarious.
It's so bad. Like,
Did Farnham this morning?
Farnham didn't. He's the first one who has it. But for Sunday, on Sunday they didn't. They said it. Tuesday they said it. I don't know if they said Wednesday. Today they didn't. But I've been constant throughout the past week and a half. I keep catching the phrase Among Us in these messages and sermons, and it's so funny.
It's kind of sus.
It's sus. Bro.
But
okay,
yeah, Weezer.
But talk about Weezer. Did the album that a bunch of bands were doing Metallica songs, did that ever come out, or that's still being made?
The Black Album? Yeah, it just came out. Yeah.
Okay, because my favorite thing, I love Weezer's version of Enter Sandman.
Yeah, it was good.
It was really good. And they pulled the most Chad move of all time, and right at the end of the solo, they put the Buddy Holly riff in, and it's so good. Like,
I don't know if I call it a Chad move because that's their song.
It is, but man, it's funny.
Well, now I have to go tangent. The Black Album.
Yeah, the Black Album.
The Black Album remastered thing. It was like, it's like a thick box. I wanted to get it, but it's like $130.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot. Did you hear St. Vincent, Sad But True?
No.
We'll listen to that later, not in the podcast, but I'll show it to you.
That's gonna be one of those things. Because what I'll do is when I listen to albums, I'll like play a game, like something I can kind of play mindlessly. Yeah. And then just throw on an album that I want to listen to and just go.
Well, we've been kind of trying. I've been trying to indoctrinate him into like the whole vinyl thing. Obviously not going to go out and buy a bunch of vinyls, but
I've considered getting a setup for a while now.
Yeah. However, he has been listening to my records, which is good.
Which is fun. I do like the records.
I think the next record we're going to listen to is Nirvana BBC Live, or live BBC recordings.
Ooh.
It's blue.
That's fun.
Anyway, what's your list?
Okay, so.
I'll see if I know, because alright, a little context. He hasn't told me anything on his list, because he wants my reaction to some of them.
So, I have 5. And actually, one of them I'm surprised you didn't mention. First one, this is not the one. Montero by Lil Nas X.
Yeah, I can care less.
Which drops tomorrow.
Is that why he's been pregnant? For like a month?
It's so good. Yeah, it is. That has to be the dumbest way to advertise an album, but I love it. It's so stupid.
He has a sense of humor that I can appreciate.
He does.
I don't like his music very much.
I'm interested.
Okay.
I actually enjoyed Montero. I think he has a lot of potential to be good.
I didn't enjoy Montero.
Really?
The Say My Name song?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got a lot of controversy.
I don't love the
music video's not great.
The music video's not great. I'm not a fan of the music video.
Anyway, this song's catchy. I'll give him that.
It's catchy. This is his first actual album.
Yeah, because the last one was an EP, right?
He's done one EP, which had a bunch of his solos on it.
Yeah.
And then it's just all been solos. So, and that drops tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see how he'll sound in an album.
I don't know. You'll have to let me know. I'm not.
I'll
I probably
listen to
won't
it.
listen to it.
I'm
If you say it's good, I'll check it out. All right. What's next?
Second one, Music of the Spheres by Coldplay. Getting a new Coldplay album.
So
I'm not a huge Coldplay guy. I like some of the stuff, but I'm not like I'm gonna go out of my way to listen to Coldplay.
I like the first 3 Coldplay albums. I think they're great. And then they started releasing, and I even some of their later stuff was great. Ever since they released that one with the monkeys in it or whatever, Adventure of a Lifetime or whatever. Ever since then, their music has sucked and has not had a single good song since then. So I probably won't even pay attention to the new Coldplay album. Let me say, I did like that song that they did with the Chainsmokers or whatever, the Superheroes or whatever. That was good, but didn't sound like Coldplay.
Yeah. Third one, I Don't Live Here Anymore by The War on Drugs, coming out in November.
I'll listen to that.
I'm surprised you didn't mention that. Because I know you like them, and you introduced me to... They have one song that you introduced me to by them, and I really love it.
Yeah.
It is called Strangest Thing.
Uh-huh.
And I really like that song. So I'll give it a listen.
I didn't know they had a new album coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out in November.
I'll check that out.
Yeah. Fourth one, which these next two are undated. Born with Horns by Machine Gun Kelly.
Okay. Yeah. So, again, if my father is listening to this, sorry. He does not like MGK as well. I got really excited when MGK started releasing pop punk music. It's oh, this is awesome. Sounds like the early 2000s again. And my dad was like, it sucks. It's terrible.
Here's the thing. Machine Gun Kelly I kind of label as junk food music. Is it good pop punk? No. But is it
But it's so dang fun.
It's really fun.
I have it too. I have it on vinyl, man.
It's not good. I will fully admit it is not a good album.
I think it's a great album.
But it's quality-wise.
Yeah,
it's
good.
Not great. But it's fun. It's like your trip to McDonald's. It's high-quality food? No. But are you gonna go get whatever you get and enjoy it? Yeah. Because it is a fun album.
I think it's a great album. So
I agree. I really like it.
What I'm saying is, I think it's a great album. Do I think that... I think it's trying something new, and that's why people don't like it. It's pop punk, but it's not Taking Back Sunday or all those other early pop punk bands that people enjoyed. It's something new. It's taking hip hop. What pop punk album would have Black Bear, Ian Dior, and Trippie Redd all on it?
Yeah. And what I like, he has a very interesting vocal range for the type of music he plays.
I hated his voice at first. I thought
you get used to it.
You get used to it.
Because he has a lower voice.
You know what's fun though?
What?
Born with Horns, which is the new one, with Travis. It's a second pairing with Travis Barker. They announced it on Instagram by getting matching tattoos right here. And they released Paper Cuts as the leading single from it. It's like grunge. So it's like he's trying to put his own spin on a bunch of different types of music.
Yeah.
Because Tickets to My Downfall, in its sensibility and its drumming, its guitar, even some of the vocal range that he has, is pop punk through and through. Whether or not you agree with how you like it or how it compares to other pop punk, the style is pop punk. Paper Cuts is not. When I listen to it, it sounds like I'm not gonna say his voice. His voice does not sound anything like Kurt Cobain or Pearl Jam, or I guess Pearl Jam would be Eddie Vedder, or Chris Cornell, or any of the major vocalists from the grunge era. However, the instruments and what he's trying to do with his voice sound just like them. Side note: I'm going to see Pearl Jam this freaking weekend. And actually, this goes live on Saturday, right?
Yeah. So
I will be at the concert when this goes live.
Send me a video, then I'll just throw it in.
I will. I'll send you a video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I enjoy Machine Gun Kelly a lot. It's very fun. Final one. The Dawn is.
I'm also jealous because he's with Megan Fox. Sorry, just that's an angry way to go, bro. I have to say it,
hey, good on you, buddy.
Grew up, and this isn't the thing, I'm not gonna get into whole lust culture of teenagers. But, like, you can't tell me that when you watched Transformers for the first time and Megan Fox lifts that thing and she was my crush for years.
Oh, okay.
And some skinny guy from freaking Ohio.
Like,
not that she would ever be with me. She's too old for me. She's like 10 years older than me, but still. Way to go, bud.
Way to go. Final album, The Dawn is Coming by The Weeknd.
Okay.
I like The Weeknd.
I like The Weeknd. I feel like at the same time, he's overhyped but also understated, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
He's overhyped, like his big songs like Blinding Light and things like that are overhyped. Mm-hmm. They're played everywhere.
I think they're good. They're
great songs, they're just overplayed.
Yeah.
His Super Bowl performance, which was trashed, was awesome. Mm-hmm. I thought it was great. It's like...
Well, every Super Bowl performance gets trashed.
It's true, except for the good ones.
Yeah. Well, those are even few and far between. A lot of the ones people praise are like a much older artist. The Michael Jackson and Prince one.
Oh, Prince.
Oh, the Prince one.
He played Purple Rain in the rain.
Which is dope.
Like, you can't
get
beat
better
that.
than
All right, anyway,
he got lucky for that.
He did. I liked The Weeknd's last album. Was it After Hours?
Yeah. After Hours is great.
I liked After Hours. There's a lot of songs on that weren't released as singles. Mm-hmm. They're really good. And didn't he also do, is Starboy an album?
Starboy, yeah? Let me check. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Starboy's an album.
Starboy was 2016, right? That's Can't Feel My Face or whatever, that one?
I think so. Probably. Let me check.
Or is that not on there?
Just
it doesn't seem to be on there. I like him, and then also, on a side note, Uncut Gems, the Adam Sandler movie, he's in that.
Is he actually?
You've never seen it?
No.
Okay, we have to watch it.
I've heard it's good.
Yeah, he plays himself. Because Uncut Gems takes place in 2012. Or not 2012, in like 2013.
I've heard of this, yeah.
So he plays himself coming up as The Weeknd, like when he was coming up in like the club scene. Mm-hmm. And he's a complete jerk, and it's hilarious.
I forgot about that. I remember hearing that he was in it. I didn't know what he did.
Yeah, he punches Adam Sandler in the face in the movie, and it's hilarious.
That's kind of funny. That's not kind of funny. It's very funny.
Yeah. So yeah, I like The Weeknd. That'll be good. I'll listen to that.
Are there any albums we're missing?
I'm sure there is. And also, the hard thing about it's way easier to do movies. So they announce movies years in advance.
Yeah.
Albums, a lot of times, are only rumored until about a month or two before they're released. A lot of albums. Some albums, get a whole year. But, like, I know, for example, like, say Trench for 21 Pilots. They were on hiatus for, like, a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then they released the music. They did that thing on Twitter, and then within 24 hours, they released the music video for Jumpsuit. And they had the album release date for October. That was August that they released that. It's 2 months.
Dang.
And bands do that all the time. So I'm sure there's going to be tons of albums that release next year that we did not mention. Mm-hmm.
And when we don't, we'll talk about them.
We'll talk about them.
That's our thing. That's our shtick.
So, yeah.
That's albums.
Yeah, it is. Can we pause?
Can we pause? No. We're back. Oh, I'm going to have to edit the audio just for that section. And we're back. So, movie time, am I right?
Yes, films.
Cinema.
The cinema.
Starting with our high-quality cinema. Venom 2.
Yeah, that does come out next month, doesn't it?
I'm so amped. Dude, I love Venom. Venom is such a sick character, and I love Carnage as a villain. As a big Spider-Man guy.
I will say,
like,
I'm more excited for this one than I was for the first one.
Yeah.
Although I was really excited for the first one, it did let me down. It's decent. Mm-hmm. Tom Hardy looks like he's having a blast, which makes it easier to watch. However, the villain sucked in the first movie, and the story development was non-existent.
But that's the thing. What that movie does well is it sets up the character, like, chemistry with Tom Hardy and Venom really well.
Yeah, but
they do a good job at it.
The chemistry, yes, but you can't build a whole film around that.
I agree, but it sets a basis for potential.
But nonetheless, that's why I'm excited about this one, because I do feel like it has more potential. Also, the guy behind the director's chair, I have 100% faith in. Although I don't know if he's directed anything before, I just know that he knows film. It's Andy Serkis. Do you know who Andy Serkis is? So he's like the king of motion capture. He was the guy, you know what mocap is, right?
Yeah.
He did the mocap for Caesar for Planet of the Apes. Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Godzilla.
Dang.
King Kong. Bunch of big characters he did the mocap for. So he knows films.
At the very least, we're going to see good fights. Like, well choreographed, well animated, well capped fights.
Exactly.
Which makes me really amped, because Carnage and Venom are going to be all mocap.
Also, Carnage looks dope.
Carnage does look dope.
I love Woody Harrelson as an actor. He's a great actor. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks good, and it's gonna... And because of the success of Shang-Chi, it was moved to October 1st, which means we get to see it sooner. We're definitely going to theaters to see that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We'll let you know our review. But yeah, so it's fun. You want to do your list first, or mine, or go back and forth?
I want to finish my 3 I have, and
yeah,
I'm
you only
going to
have
wait
3.
to say the one at the end, because I think you're going to say it.
Okay.
No Way Home.
That's probably the most anticipated for me or anyone.
I love
really.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero.
It's my dad's favorite.
If you can't tell by the 3 Funko Pops I have a Into the Spider-Verse poster right on over here.
You know what's funny, though?
What?
I mean, I guess we did just show them that, but they can't see anything.
Well, the YouTube people can. For our audio listeners,
well, no, the YouTube people can't see it. They saw the things we showed earlier, but like they just see us now.
Yeah. Unless I feel like grabbing the camera and moving it over there, which I don't.
Yeah, let's not do that.
But yeah, I'm really excited for No Way Home. I think it'll be a very interesting... It's going to be interesting to see where they go with it. Because it involves multiverse. If you haven't seen the trailer, we're pairing him with Doctor Strange, and there's going to be some multiverse stuff. And it's theorized that we're going to see our Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in the movie.
Yeah.
Which I think got confirmed. Not officially, but it got confirmed. But there was a toy line that got leaked.
Yeah, but you can't say that that's confirming.
It makes it a little more likely. I'm hoping. I'm very hopeful.
All right, so this is a picture. There we go. You can I can see it. If you're an audio, you can't. My 4-year-old or she's 5 now, is obsessed with was obsessed. Now she's obsessed with Kiss, the band, the hair metal band.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's very into Paul Stanley, otherwise known as oh god, what is that one's name?
I don't know.
Star Child.
Yeah.
And if you ask her why, it's because he's handsome.
That's great.
But she was really into Spider-Man. And so we went to go see Far From Home together. We'll probably end up going to see No Way Home together because it does come out during Christmas break for us.
Yeah.
Doesn't it come out on Christmas?
Very close to.
Or like the week of.
27th.
So we're going to go see that. But I'm really excited. It has not been confirmed. You know, Andrew Garfield's playing coy about him not being in it. However, at this point, if they're not in it, people are gonna storm out of the theater.
December 17th.
Comes out the week before Christmas.
Yeah. Which makes more sense.
But I'm just really excited because of how they're building it up. Like, the first trailer released, and it actually broke the 24-hour record of Endgame. More people watched it in the first 24 hours than the people who watched the Endgame trailer.
That's crazy.
Which goes to show you that, this kind of movie has more pull than the Avengers movies did because it's going to pull on the people who grew up watching the other Spider-Man movies.
Yeah. Not
just the people who watch the MCU movies. Which I'm saying is a lot of people. But still, it's combining the two.
This movie has a lot of potential. Here's the thing. You're combining my 2 favorite MCU guys. You're putting Spider-Man and Doctor Strange movie together.
Doctor Strange is one of your favorites?
I love Doctor Strange, dude. He's cool. Adore Doctor Strange. It's such a good movie.
It's good. It's enjoyable. I would say it's probably not in my top 10.
Oh, I'd say it is. At least in mine.
It's up there, but it's not.
Probably around 8 to 6. I wouldn't put it in top 5, but I love it. And I love the character.
Yeah, I think he needs more development, which I'm hopefully going to get out of these 2 movies that he's in.
Which, want to smoothly transition into another movie?
On your list, yeah.
Multiverse Madness.
Yeah, Multiverse of Madness looks awesome. However, I'm curious to see how they tie it off because then to go back, Spider-Man, like, you know, obviously it's gonna deal with the multiverse because I think what they're tying into is I think this is gonna open. If you watched Loki, you didn't watch Loki, did you?
No.
Do you want me to spoil it?
I don't care. Spoiler alert for Loki.
They open the multiverse in the last episode.
Yeah, I heard that.
And Kang the Conqueror is the one who does it.
Oh, so we've actually had Kang the Conqueror already in.
Yeah, but he's not called Kang the Conqueror, but he is Kang the Conqueror. Yeah. You gotta watch. You'll still. There we go. That's why you'll watch it because you gotta figure out what I mean by that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's open now officially, but if you look at the way because it looks like No Way Home is gonna take place the second Far From Home ends, which then would put it before Loki, I think, or around the same time as Loki.
But that put it before or after Shang-Chi.
But the thing,
do we know when Shang-Chi happens?
The thing about Loki is Loki could be at any time.
Yeah.
Because it's it's the Loki from 2012 that went back, and then he could be anywhere. The timeline is open, but we don't know when our heroes in the current timeline are going to experience that. I'm guessing that it's going to correlate with them trying to mess with the timeline in Spider-Man, which then will lead into Multiverse of Madness because Wanda is going to be in it from WandaVision, which is where we're going to talk about Multiverse of Madness.
You were like this close to poke me in the face when you did that. But here's the thing. Even outside of an MCU realm, it is going to be a horror superhero movie. If they do that well,
Mephisto,
and if they make it genuinely scary, it can be so good. I'm so amped. This movie could be so cool.
Could be.
Granted, if it's not scary, it could kind of flop.
I don't think it's gonna flop.
I don't think it'll flop.
I don't think even if it's not scary.
I don't think it'll be a bad movie. But I think if they really try to play into the horror aspect and it's not scary, it could not be the greatest. I don't even know if I'd want it to be like a jump scary or like super ominous, like super tense movie. Because I think both could play really well into the type of movie. They'd be cool for very different reasons.
Yeah. I actually think they're going to be cool for very similar reasons. Which is the kind of the opposite reason I was excited about Shang-Chi is they're going to be team of movies. You're going to have people, you're going to have characters. I've heard that Multiverse of Madness has Wanda fighting a Fox X-Men character. I don't know who that's going to be. They really screwed the pooch with Quicksilver in WandaVision. Whether or not, like, it was funny for a second. They called him Ralph Boner. And currently the actor loved it too. But you can't tell me that when you saw Quicksilver, did you watch WandaVision?
No.
Oh my gosh, bro.
I don't watch a lot of TV, okay?
It's Marvel, though. It's different. It's like watching a long-form movie.
Yeah.
Both those shows you need to put on your list.
I know, and I haven't watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I also need to watch.
Yes, all three of those you need to watch.
But as far as I'm aware, that one's kind of less important right now. So
it's pretty important, but not to the two movies that are coming out this year. You can wait on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's important. I would say definitely watch it, especially because they announced they're doing Captain America 4 with Anthony Mackie. So that's gonna be cool. But definitely watch WandaVision and Loki before we even see Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because there's stuff in that'll tie into that. But anyway, spoiler alert: Evan Peters, Fox Quicksilver from the X-Men movies, is in WandaVision.
Oh.
As Quicksilver.
Oh, so are we gonna get? Oh, because that multiverse could.
But then they screwed it up by just saying that it's not actually Quicksilver.
Oh. That's lame.
So I don't know, but they could be playing with us too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because once we're in the multiverse, literally anything's possible.
Anything's possible. And then, there's been teasing stuff like Hugh Jackman posted a picture of Kevin Feige on his Instagram story a couple weeks ago, teasing the idea that he might be returning to the role of Wolverine for possibly this movie or more likely Deadpool 3. He'll probably be in Deadpool 3. We don't know when that's going to release, though. So I'm not even going to put that in my anticipated list because odds are we don't get that until like 2023, 2024.
Yeah.
But are you done with your list or do you have more?
I think the two I want to say are going to be on your list. So let's just crack into yours.
Alrighty.
So
my list is broken down by months.
Yes.
So let's start with January. Scream.
Oh, are we?
So this is
reboot?
It's a reboot sequel of sorts. They haven't released a trailer or anything about it, but like the first 3 Scream movies are classics, and the 4th one's really good too. Mm-hmm. It's just not like the same level. And then they had the TV show for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the TV show because it's a satire. It's not supposed to be taken seriously.
Well, Scream has always been the kind of lighter-hearted.
Well, have you seen the Scream movies?
I've seen synopses. I haven't seen the full thing.
So the Scream, basically, the whole point of Scream is that it's a meta horror. Basically, like it's these people who saw this horror movie. Like it takes tropes from original horror movies and like
kind of
jokes with them,
spoofs them.
Like literally, the first thing they do, the whole marketing for the first one was that Drew Barrymore was going to be the star because she was like a really big actress at the time.
And then
they kill her in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then from there you get a lot of like angsty, but also like very just outrageous things, and it's funny. And then the second one, it's a double thing because they've made a movie about the killer, and then the killer comes back to kill. It's just so much stuff, and there's like this rich. It's Wes Craven basically. It's like his homage to horror, how dumb horror movies are.
Yeah,
and he knows that, being one of the greatest of all time. However, there's a directing duo known as Radio Silence. Matt Bertelli and Tyler Gillett. They directed Ready or Not that came out last year, or 2019, 2 years ago, which is the movie about like it's like the hide and seek murder movie they made. Got really good reviews. I didn't watch it, but almost the entire cast is supposed to come back. So that's pretty cool. There's a few that I can care less about. They're doing a Sesame Street movie is going to come out. I don't care about that. Morbius. I am indifferent when it comes to Morbius. Like I was excited at first.
Morbius is
like the vampire. It's a Marvel movie. But it's not an MCU movie. It's a Sony Spider-Man universe is what they're calling it now. It was supposed to come out already, but the trailer was released like a year ago, and it has a picture of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man on the wall for graffiti when he's walking past. But it also has Vulture from Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the movie. So, I'm curious to see how they play with that. It's supposed to be a horror, but again, it's PG-13.
So, not much. You can't go that far.
Can't go that far. No.
Here for those for love to discover.
I hate when like ads start playing.
Turn off your volume. Whoop. There. I just do volume, dude. What do you
just touch my phone?
Yeah. What do you do about it? You missed. You missed that slap. You missed almost all of these slaps.
Who says I'm... Distractions. This one I am reluctantly excited about. I'm a PlayStation guy when it comes to video games, right?
Oh, this the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland?
The Uncharted movie with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg as Sully.
Weird.
I like both of those actors, but neither of them seem to fit the roles.
No.
Tom Holland, while yes, age-wise he would be appropriate, he still just looks too young to be playing Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
And Sully is the opposite. He does not look old enough to be playing Sully. However, I think they aged him for the movie, so it could be good. But considering that Tom Holland has said nothing about it, and it comes out next year, scares me.
Well, I imagine he's spending more marketing No Way Home.
Yeah, but he's always been really good at marketing his other movies too. Because even when he was marketing like for Far From Home or all those movies, he was marketing his other movies that were coming out, like Cherry and Chaos Walking, that all came out last year. He's still marketing those. So I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not gonna see that one in theaters. I'm not super.
No, I'm not. I don't think I'm gonna see it either. I'll definitely rent it. This one.
Woohoo!
Anyone who knows me personally knows my deep love for a certain comic book character. Similar to his love for Spider-Man, my superhero growing up was and always will be Batman. Mm-hmm. So I have watched every Batman movie since I was like 5 in theaters. Everything. And it just makes me so excited that they're going to do a new take on it. Fun fact, let me just go back a little bit before I talk about this movie. I went to theaters to see all the Dark Knight
I was
trilogy.
gonna say, you can't start talking about this without telling these stories.
I went to the Dark Knight trilogy. I was 5 years old when Batman Begins came out, and my stepmother at the time and my dad took me to go see it. I was terrified because if you've seen Batman Begins, parts of it are scary. There's the whole like poisoning the city streets and the scarecrow mask. It's terrifying. But I loved it because it was Batman. And, you know, like, Batman wins in the end, so it's still fine. I got scared, but it was okay. I still loved it. They ended up getting it for me on DVD, like, when it came out for my birthday.
Awesome.
And then, this is the good story, though. I was 8 years old when The Dark Knight came out.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, also an avid Batman fan. Actually, though, his favorite superhero is Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man and Wolverine. Those are like his two. Mm. But he's a big Batman fan because he, you know...
Oh, I have a sin then that I need to confess.
What?
I haven't seen Logan. I have heard it's amazing.
When they're done watching football tonight, we're watching Logan.
Dude, I've got class at like 10.
You got... That's 10 a.m.
Yeah, but...
Dude,
I still have to do like an hour and a half of practice.
Okay. So if we watch it when this is over, it's only 2 hours. It'll be over before... and you'll get 8 hours sleep.
No, but I have to go to practice.
We'll discuss this later, because I'm pretty sure we're going to end up watching it.
Okay.
Really good.
We'll
anyway, back to this. We can probably watch tomorrow. But anyway, back to this. My dad went to go see the midnight premiere of the movie. Mm-hmm. I'm getting up at like 7 a.m. to get ready to go walk to the bus stop for school the next morning. 8 years old, I would have been in third grade? Third grade. I was walking out to go to third grade, and my dad walks into my room, and he says, "Tyler, you're not going to school today. We're going to go see The Dark Knight." He got me dressed. Keep in mind, it's a 2.5 hour movie. It's a long movie, but I still could have gone to school afterwards. I got up. I got dressed. We went to the 8 o'clock showing of the movie. And watched it, I fell in love instantly. Which is weird, because, like, it shows how much I like movies, because, like, The Dark Knight is not your average movie that an 8-year-old would enjoy. It's very much a crime thriller. Still one of my top 10 movies of all time.
It is very good.
Oh, yeah. I showed him all three movies
finally watched
like 2 weeks ago. We watched all three of them.
They're all fantastic.
Yeah, he'd never seen them, so that was fun. That was fun for me, personally. Which is why I wanted to watch Logan, because I like seeing people's reactions to sick films. Mm-hmm. And then Dark Knight Rises came out in 2012. I was at my mom's for the summer. Someone just wicked sneezed out in the hallway.
Wicked sneeze.
But no, I was at my mom's for the summer. We went to go see the Dark Knight Rises. And for those of you who haven't seen The Dark Knight Rises, spoiler alert, but it came out almost 10 years ago, so shame on you. I'm not going to feel bad for spoiling it. Batman dies at the end. He doesn't die. Because you find out later that he autopilot on the ship, and then he ends up in Paris with Catwoman, and you know there's that controversial, but I love it kind of scene where Alfred sees him. But anyway, Batman blows up. You don't know that he's alive yet because they haven't revealed the whole autopilot thing. 12-year-old kid in tears. My hero has just died. Almost akin to 2019. When Iron Man died. That's what I was feeling when Batman died in Dark Knight Rises. Then to immediately find out he was alive, I was okay. You don't get that resolution in Endgame. I still can get emotional. I've seen the movie like 6 times. Every time I get kind of teared up when Iron Man dies. Different kind of feeling. And then, of course, you had the Ben Affleck Batman, which was controversial, but I think he was a pretty decent Batman.
Yeah, he's not bad.
I just think the movies he was put in were terrible. I think Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice is one of the worst superhero movies ever made.
Ugh, yeah.
The Justice League with Joss Whedon, not great either. However, Justice League Snyder Cut, that's 4 hours, really fleshes out the character and gives you more of an insight into his Batman character. And it actually makes me want to see more Ben Affleck Batman. But Warner Brothers went another route, and it's giving us a new take of Batman, an earlier take. So it's going to be... it's based on like the year 1 and year 2 comics of Batman, where he's gonna be younger. He's gonna be more like less developed. His Batcave is still cool, but it's not going to be as like up to date as some of the new ones. And it's Robert Pattinson, which people freaked out when he was announced. However, if you look back in history, everybody who's been cast to play Batman was like, oh, he can't be Batman. Michael Keaton, everyone's like, oh, you mean Mr. Mom? And then you got like, Val Kilmer, and then George Clooney, who admittedly was a bad Batman. And then
George Clooney's Batman?
I'm glad you haven't seen that one.
It's a weird choice.
George Clooney is Batman in the worst Batman movie ever made called Batman and Robin. And Dr. Freeze, not Dr. Freeze.
So dumb.
Is it Dr. Freeze or is it Mr. Freeze? Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze, and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's why don't you chill out? Like it's just a movie of puns. There's bat nipples on the suit, and there's a bat credit card. It's dumb. I don't want to get into that. I'll rant. But
doesn't beat the greatest Batman quote of all time, which is from the comics, which is "Holy rusted metal, Batman."
Mm-hmm. That one's in there.
Where Robin found that the island was completely rusted.
They say that in.
I love that. They
say that quote in Batman Forever.
Yeah.
And I like that one. It's that one's like just zany enough to be okay.
Yeah.
That's the one with Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones in it. But this is supposed to be a darker take, and CinemaCon happened like a week and a half ago, and they showed a 3-hour cut of the movie. Apparently, it is terrifying, and it's PG-13 from what I hear, but apparently it's terrifying. Paul Dano is like a great actor, and he plays the Riddler in this movie, and they're going like the Riddler, like a serial killer kind of vibe, which I like. The first trailer released a year ago because it got delayed because of COVID, just like everything got delayed because of COVID. So it comes out in March 2022. I know for a fact I'm gonna go to the premiere of this movie.
I'll go with you.
Yeah. Well, we're roommates, so and hoping to use your car to go see it. So I would hope you would come with me.
I'm basically a chauffeur this year. So
for those of you, I don't have a car currently. I have a license, so that's.
He has a license, but not a car.
Don't have a car. I am dirt poor.
So I basically kind of chauffeur him around wherever he needs.
Although
to
I
go.
will say that the advertising for Anchor that we do on this podcast has netted me a solid 33 cents.
Woo! Woo! Racking in the dough.
But one reason that I think this movie is going to be really, really good is the director. So, does the name Matt Reeves mean anything?
Yeah, I know that name. I know he's done a lot of really good stuff.
Well,
I could not name a single thing he's done, but I know he's done good stuff. I've heard his name before.
He directed the 3 most recent Planet of the Apes movies. Rise of Planet of the Apes, Dawn of Planet of the Apes, and War for Planet of the Apes. Which were all amazing films. So he knows how to do these, like, darker films. So I'm really excited about that. This one's more... Alright, so that's enough for Batman. Then Sonic 2.
Sonic 2! It's Sonic 2.
He hasn't seen Sonic, so we're just going to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
So he has no comment on this. I saw it. Again, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's amazing, but however, it's good. And my sister loves it. So seeing how like she laughs like crazy when it's on puts joy in my heart. So that's the audience it was built for.
Yeah.
So seeing that she enjoys it makes me enjoy it. I'll probably see Sonic 2 with her. Moving on.
I do respect the Sonic movie, though, for completely reanimating because of how awful the first version was.
Exactly. Twitter
bullied a movie studio enough to completely reanimate, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful, but also they went out of business.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. The studio that animated it went out of business because they spent all their money redoing Sonic.
Respect.
Thor Love and Thunder is scheduled for 2022 in May. Which there's a lot of Marvel movies coming out, but this one, it's the sequel to. It's directed by Taika Waititi, who directed Thor Ragnarok, which is in my top 3 Marvel movies. I love it. And it also takes in the character, after Endgame, where he's, Fat Thor. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get Fit Thor again, although I'm all for Fat Thor. Can we get a high five for Fat Thor?
Fat Thor is what I just said. Fat Thor is awesome.
It is the 4th Thor movie, so. Anyway.
Can I say if they're knocking on our door or not?
They're not. But it looks awesome. It looks really good. The Guardians are supposed to be in it, Guardians of the Galaxy. So it picks up right at the end of the arc where, you see Thor getting on the Guardian ship, him leaving Asgard, or New Asgard on Earth, which is basically just a city in New Zealand, to what's her face? Tessa Thompson's character, Valkyrie, to Valkyrie to be the new queen of Asgard. Or I guess she's the new king of Asgard because they're trying to be inclusive.
Yeah.
But it's going to pick up from that, and it's supposed to be just as funny, which is really cool. They haven't released a trailer yet, but the big thing from this movie is the return of Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman played his love interest, Jane Foster, in the first 2 Thor movies. First one, as I've rewatched it, I think is underrated. The first one.
The first one's not bad.
It's not It's not great.
It's not great.
But it's not terrible by any means. Thor 2 is terrible. The Dark World. She's in that as well. But after that, she left. You know, he doesn't have a new love interest in Thor Ragnarok. They tried to play it off as Valkyrie being that, but she's definitely into women. But she's back, and odds are the thing they're saying is she's going to take the mantle of Thor, and she's going to become Lady Thor. Which in the comics is interesting because that means that Chris Hemsworth is probably going to die in this movie.
Oh.
I'm very curious how they do that. If I keep going,
I like how you say Thor. You don't say Thor and just say Chris Hemsworth. Like, yeah, Chris Hemsworth is going to die.
Yeah. Oh, slight mention. Not going to get into it, but John Wick Chapter 4 comes out too. That looks awesome. You can talk about that.
I love John Wick. John Wick amazes me as... I think your favorite John Wick can be entirely up to preference. I think they are all equally as good.
What?
You like one the most. I like 3 the most.
I think 1... I love all of them individually. I like Nobody was really good. I talked about that a few weeks ago, but that's not a John Wick movie. It's by the same directors, though. But 1, it's just... It sets up the stage, and it's the least, like... I feel like after the first one, like, what can we get away with? And that's why 3 is outrageous. It's awesome, but it's outrageous.
But I rock with it.
Yeah, I do
because
too.
you don't. Here's the thing: you don't watch John Wick for the plot.
No,
it's simple. It's a simple plot.
Don't kill that man's dog.
Dog. It's like, hey, how about you don't do that? And
sorry,
pencil someone in the eye.
Batman fan.
Dear, touch pencil. Disappear.
No, that was terrible. Oh my gosh, that was so bad.
I don't care. I'm not trying.
Where's Thomas when you need it? He knows how to do the Joker thing. But basically, the pencil in the head. Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun.
So, I'm gonna out you again, bud.
Haven't seen Top Gun.
Alex has not seen Top Gun. He knew nothing about it going into when we went into the theaters to see Shang-Chi. They showed the Maverick trailer. He's like, "This looks good. Is it a sequel?"
No, I knew it was a sequel.
You said that.
No, I did not.
You said, "Is it a sequel?"
Okay, I knew. Well, I didn't know if it was a sequel or a remake.
Okay, it is a sequel.
Okay.
But it's a sequel. So in Top Gun, do you want to watch it or do you want me to tell you what happens?
Just tell me.
Goose is his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Goose dies.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
In the first one. This movie is Tom Cruise coming back, and Goose's son is now of age and in the movie and in the Air Force. Played by Miles Teller. Mm-hmm. Which is very interesting. Haven't seen him in anything in a while, and I'm excited. I usually like his movies. But played by him, and then supposed to have the returning cast, and it looks amazing. It's been a long time since it came out. 30 years, more than 30 years since Top Gun came out.
Which is why. Okay, so can you see why I asked if it's a sequel or not? You wait 30 years between movies.
Uh-huh.
And then you go, we're making another one.
Yeah.
Like, why make a sequel at this point? Either let it be or reboot.
Another Marvel movie which ties into this whole, like, it's like they're releasing the whole phase within the next year and a half. Because Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania comes out in October of 2022.
I like the Ant-Man and the Wasp
I do
movies.
too. Quantumania, though, I think they're going to try to go into the whole multiverse thing with the quantum realm and tie everything together.
It's gonna be interesting seeing all these movies kind of dip into the multiverse.
Yeah.
They all seem to be taking different paths.
This next one's gonna excite you, and I don't know if it's on your list. And if it isn't on your list, you are going to freak out that you didn't put it on your list. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 comes out sometime in 2022.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite animated movie. It's in my top 3 favorite movies of all time.
It's in my top, it might be my favorite animated movie of all time. There's literally a poster right there.
There is a poster right there. It's like, I think that it is a perfect movie.
October 7th.
Like, legitimately, it's just so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks really good. It comes out the same day as Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I hope they don't screw. I really hope they don't screw it.
I don't think they will.
Up. I don't think it'll be as good as the first.
We're reaching the end of my list. I've got 3 or 4 more.
Okay.
Halloween Ends.
Okay, that was one of the ones I figured you were going to mention.
I really like the reboot. So basically in 2018, they rebooted Halloween, and when I heard about it, I was like, whatever. Because I like the old ones, and I'm partial to Halloween H2O, which a lot of people hate. I love that one. Mm-hmm. But all the other sequels, absolute garbage, in my opinion. Except for the first one. And then I went to go watch. I didn't see it in theaters. I waited till like a year after and saw it on like Amazon or something. And I was blown away because it's a sequel just to the first one. They completely disregard all the other sequels. They get rid of the dumb Jamie Lee Curtis is his sister thing. And the way they ended off is really awesome. And it builds to this second thing. And if they're going by like a trilogy vibe, which is the second movie is always the darkest. Mm-hmm. Halloween Kills. And from what I've heard from reviews so far, like the early critics, say that it is the bloodiest one yet. And that it has high kill count and a creative kill count. And that's Halloween Kills, and that comes out next month. So that's actually on my list as well. That comes out next month. But Halloween Ends comes out exactly a year later. And that's going to end the trilogy. Mm-hmm. That's what's on my list here, because this is the 2022 list. Trying to figure out if I want to say all of these or not. One that I don't know about, Avatar 2 is either going to be amazing or it's going to suck.
There's like 5 of them now. There's going to be 5. I think they said the 5th one was going to release in 2028.
The Untitled Quiet Place spinoff.
Okay, hold on. We need to go back a bit. How are they going to make 4 more Avatar movies?
They apparently... I trust James Cameron. He's got a story built out. I'm sure they can make plenty of sequels.
One of them's just going to be an hour and a half of the blue hair sex. So don't they have hair sex in the first one?
You're calling it that.
I've heard it's hair sex.
Okay, so A Quiet Place spinoff. A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2.
Very, very intentionally getting off this topic.
Were awesome.
I love the first Quiet Place.
Did you watch the second one yet?
Not yet.
It's on Paramount. We'll check it out because I went to theaters to see it. Really good. But this next one's supposed to not be a sequel. It's supposed to be a spinoff taking place in the same universe. Very curious how they're going to do that. It's not directed by John Krasinski, who created it.
I was amazed that it's fascinating that that's the direction he went, because he's obviously probably most known for being Jim in The Office.
Yeah.
To see this being the direction he goes in, and for him to do it this well, is amazing.
Well, there's also another one. Nope. Is what it's called. It's called Nope. It's Jordan Peele's next movie. You know who Jordan Peele is? You ever heard of Key and Peele?
Yes.
He's Peele.
Okay.
In that. He's the shorter one.
Okay.
He directed...
We watched that... we were watching that the other day.
He directed Get Out and Us.
Oh.
So he, very similar to John Krasinski, is known for comedic roles.
Oh, so this is going to be
all of a sudden started directing horror movies.
Well, very good horror movies.
Very good horror movies. Very similar to John Krasinski, but in a different way. Different kind of movie, but very horror thing. Also, another note on John Krasinski, he didn't go straight into directing horror, because he was known for comedy, but then he became Jack Ryan on Amazon, and he's really good in that. Like he's their head guy. Like they've done 2 seasons, and they're doing a 3rd of him as Jack Ryan, and he got buff for it. Also, he's married to Mary Poppins, so good job. Emily Blunt, for those of you who don't know. But yeah, that looks really cool too. I'm gonna narrow it back down to 2 more. There's like a couple more Marvel movies that I don't want to really get into. The Marvels comes out 2022. Aquaman comes out.
Eternals.
Eternals comes out. Okay,
we're back.
Let me just explain what kind of went down.
This kind of has to do with movies. So
if you're familiar with Cars, which is it? Cars.
You know,
which one
you
is
drive
it?
them.
No.
Cars.
Which movie is he in?
One.
He's in the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
Chick Hicks is the villain. The Kuchiga, that guy.
You can't say
What?
You can't say that.
Kuchiga? There's
so
nothing
bad.
wrong with that.
It's very close.
It is not anywhere near
Maybe
close to
not.
what you think. What?
Howdy.
Howdy.
Give him another bowl. I'll explain.
I'm explaining.
I don't know where your
They're
bowls
right
are.
there.
Okay, fine. Explain.
Um,
Have a bowl.
he wants another bowl.
I don't know. Anyway.
Anyway, he's in this movie, and so there's like a meme going around. Like, what the heck is Chick Hicks doing here? It's like a meme that was popular last year. And so Isaac, in our section, started it. He got a toy Chick Hicks and started hiding it around the section. It has now become a whole section event where all of our roommates, whoever finds it, then has to hide it somewhere. And when you find it, you have to yell out, "What the heck is Chick Hicks doing here?" And then, or where you here replaced with wherever it was.
I will say, I am very proud to say, I found Chick Hicks before I even knew it was a thing.
You did.
I found him in the lamp.
You did. I knew it was a thing by that point, because it had been in Skylar's shoe, it had been in other things. But the thing that I did was I found it the other day, so I electrical taped it to the piping of the sink underneath in the bathroom. And so we're in here recording the podcast, and you just hear, I don't know if you could hear it in the mic or not, but Isaac yells, "What the heck is Chick Hicks doing in my sink?" And so at that point, being the one who put it there, I was like, I have to see if he found it. And I look, and he didn't.
What do you mean have to see if he found it?
Well, it was taped on there, so I didn't know if he saw, like, he had it in his hand or not, which he didn't. He had to get down there and take the tape off.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to my list. Aquaman, Avatar, Hocus Pocus 2, a couple other ones. The one I want to talk about, the last one I kind of want to get into, is the Flash movie with Ezra Miller.
Okay.
It is currently scheduled for November 4th, 2022. It also has to do with a multiverse, but in the DC universe.
Yeah.
In this movie, they've already announced that Ben Affleck's Batman will be in it. They've also announced that Michael Keaton's Batman is returning.
Mm-hmm.
And then rumor has it that there's going to be 2 versions of the Flash. And the plot will follow the Flashpoint storyline from the comics. I don't know if they're going to do it exactly, because the Flashpoint paradox, I don't know if you watch the show The Flash, they kind of did a version of that.
My brother and my dad were really into watching it. And then
I was the
dropped
first
off
few
hard.
seasons. It's not good anymore, no. The first couple seasons were great.
Well, the animation now is terrible, isn't it? 'Cause they
Yeah.
got rid of all the funding for their shows.
Yeah. Well, CW's never been great. But, yeah, that looks really awesome. That's my list. There's probably going to be other movies that get announced
You
before
didn't
then.
bring up the one I thought you were going to.
No, movie that comes out October 1st, The Many Saints of Newark. That is, I want to talk about that real quick.
Still haven't.
That's like my main one. Because when you think of television nowadays, what do you think is the most influential television show of the past, like, 25 years?
25?
You probably actually haven't seen this show, so you might not
I'd
say
say
it.
stuff like Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad.
Okay, even before those.
Uh,
Those are popular because of this show.
The Sopranos? I know you talk about
Yes,
Sopranos a lot.
it's The Sopranos. Because, it's the first kind of show that makes us root for this anti-hero in this way. Like,
Yeah.
there have been shows where we root for, like, not amazing people, but, like, literally in the first season, he kills somebody, like, in cold blood, and you're rooting for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not a good person. He's not even an anti-hero. He's a villain. But it was James Gandolfini played Tony Soprano, and he passed away a few years ago. But his son, Michael Gandolfini, is playing him in this movie, The Many Saints of Newark, which is a prequel. And it takes place, like, a solid, like, 15, 20 years before the show no, longer than that. It takes place in, like, the 70s. Or late 60s, early 70s. So he would have been a teenager, and it's got, like, characters from the show and the younger selves. It also has characters that are mentioned in the show. Like, one character that is mentioned throughout the show is Dickie Moltisanti, whose son is, like, a major character in the show. It's, like, Tony's protege is Dickie's son, but Dickie was, like, was Tony's best friend kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So, that looks awesome. That comes out October 1st on HBO Max and in theaters. I want to go to theaters to see it, but if I'm broke, I might watch it on HBO. Mm-hmm. Now, what is the movie that you are surprised I didn't mention?
Dune.
Okay.
He's told me several times that he's excited for this.
I am very excited for Dune.
I'm surprised you didn't even mention it. Like, at least.
I think it's just come down to the point now where, like, Dune comes out in, like, 2 weeks. And,
Yeah.
like, so does Many Saints of Newark. I'm more excited for Many Saints of Newark than I am for Dune.
I don't think I'll go see Dune in theaters. I'm not that. That's one of the ones that I think I'll wait on.
I feel bad because like it definitely is a movie designed for theaters, and the director Denis Villeneuve or whatever, can't pronounce his last name. His movies get the bad rap because he makes amazing movies. He directed Blade Runner 2049. He directed a few other movies too. I had a whole list before, and they all critically did very well, but did poor at the box office because either they were tied up with another movie. He had a movie that came out at the same time as a very popular box office movie. He also had a movie that like he thought was gonna be really good, like Blade Runner 2049. He was like, "Oh, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be really good." Blade Runner is an amazing movie, but is a cult movie. So the only people who went to go see Blade Runner 2049 are people who liked Blade Runner.
Yeah.
So that didn't do very well either.
Well, I heard Blade Runner was very good.
And then Dune, yeah, critically it did very good. And then Dune was supposed to be his, like, okay, everyone's going to go see Dune. And the trailer looks good, and then the COVID-19 pandemic, and now it's going to be released same day on HBO Max, which makes me think that people are not going to go to the theaters to see it because they're going to watch it on HBO.
No, I won't. I'll wait to see reviews. If it's really, really good, maybe.
I feel terrible saying it. I'm going to watch it on HBO Max.
Okay.
Because
then I'll watch it HBO Max.
It looks... I mean, we could watch it probably in the...
yeah, we'll watch it in the...
Upper Miller.
Upper Miller.
Our college has a little movie theater thing here that you can hook your laptop up to. So we might watch it there.
I'm shocked we haven't used that yet.
I want to use it sometime soon.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to use it next week for a wrestling show. Mm-hmm. But anyway... It looks really good. From reviews that I've heard, is that it is good, and it looks really good. However, it misses the mark, and it's definitely a sequel setup. And so it feels like it's building to something, and it never gets to it. It feels like the whole movie feels like it's like this arc, and then the movie just ends.
Oh.
Instead of going and then like collecting itself and then getting ready for a sequel, it stops here. Which, if it does well enough, it'll be okay. But if it doesn't perform well, it might not get a sequel.
Which would be very disappointing.
Because this movie sets up a sequel. So I don't know. I did not mention it. All honesty, I did forget about that one.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's about it.
That's it. How long did we talk for? Quite a while, I want to say.
Probably like an hour 20, hour 30.
Yeah.
We went on for a while for this one.
We did.
This one's going to be a good one. Hope you all enjoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we missed any that you guys are excited about,
let us know.
Let us know in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, comments are below.
Spotify.
I'm pretty sure it's set up to where you can send us messages on Spotify. I'm not sure.
And if not, just head over to our YouTube, Dormality. You look at Dormality, you'll find it.
Instagram.
Instagram.
We're on Instagram at the Dormality Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We post every time we upload. Also, sometimes we post questions on there for possible future ones. Mm-hmm. Join us next week. We've already decided what we're doing next week. Next week, we are going to take a look at at movies with a less than 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. We're each going to pick one, and we're going to duel it out, like debate till our heads fall off. Like, what does it deserve to be a 50% or not? Our goal is to find one that we don't believe deserves a 50%. Which is going to be difficult because a lot of those movies are terrible.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching and listening.
Yep.
And we'll see you next week.
See ya.